In the name of Allah, the most compassionate and most merciful, dear student, respected Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am conveying my greetings and best wishes to every one of you, wishing you that everyone is fine and healthy along with your daily activities and family members. Let us thank first Almighty Allah all for being fine and healthy, and we are grateful to Almighty Allah that we are healthy, and may all of us be protected from all sort of diseases and problem in this world. Today we will be discussing about the remaining portion of the lecture 21 or 20, in which we will include that lectures in lecture number 21 regarding the subject of sociology of introduction to culture. We talked about that what is culture, what this subject is talking about, the culture, and what is the meanings and concept of culture will be defined about, and we discuss as well about the characteristics of cultures. So now we do come for some remaining portion of the characteristics of culture. As we in previous slide we talked about that culture is cumulative. It means that we talked that culture is learned, but it is not learned in a day, in a month, in a year. It takes lifelong time it takes to learn the cultures. We talked as well, it is a cumulative. It will not be the matter of a single day to know about every components and every parts of the cultures, as it required long more time to know what in reality the culture could be and how it could be utilized as we are the member of the societies. So culture is not a matter of a year or month. It may be transmitted from one generation to the next and may take years and months, because in some places some new thing will be added to cultures, in some place some of the things would be cut out, some of the things would be read out. There would be no that types of sympathy and kindness with the persons. That's why we say that culture is a learning process that takes long lifetime. So that's why we say that culture plays a major role in human societies, because the only difference between animals and humans itself is a culture. Culture is something that exists in the mind of people. So every day we hear about cultures, every day we talk about cultures, every day we discuss about culture. Now the question is, what is the things that exist in the mind of culture? So in the mind of the people, that their answer might be culture. So that is why we say culture exists in mind of people. It means it is something that is existing in every individual minds, and they are following that components of that cultures according to their specific rules. At the same time, when we talk about culture, we also talk about that it varies considerably in one society, or in one society it will be like one things. The same thing would be at different things in the second place, at third place is the same. So what we say that culture varies considerably, society to society, street to street, village to village. Although different in some aspects, culture resemble one another. And once culture is learned, it tends to persist. Quite simple. Once you learn the culture, it is persisting to be safely secured in your body. It will not change. And gradually this culture will change over time. At the same time, nobody is culture free. If we say, or if you talk about a person, you wouldn't be able to find a single case all over the world that culture is never changing and it is static. Culture is not static. It is gradually changing. As well as nobody in the human society where there is human, there is a cultures, because we are not talking about animals. The difference between animal and culture is itself in culture, so we should not have to see the points which is pointing out our partner. So we say that culture is adoptive. We do adopt ourselves to the cultures once we go to, for example, a place where the culture is totally different from your place. So you have to adopt them for the time being until you are there, that you may not be facing any problem in next time. So these were all the characteristics of cultures. So all culture is always changing, and these changes represent adjustment or adaptation to various conditions of life, including their physical, social and supernatural environment. The change may occur as a result of discovery, inventions and culture borrowing. The acceptance of change depends on the exposure of its members to new ideas, ways which were different from their own. So let us talk about the importance of and function of culture. So what are the importance and function of cultures? فرهنگ چی وظایف را انجام میده؟ در ضمن اهمیت فرهنگ چی هستند؟ اگر ما فرهنگ را با پیش میبریم، از او پیروی میکنیم، مثلا چی فایده داره؟ وظایفشون چی است؟ اهمیت ارزش به ما چی داره؟ So important things, the first that we are talking about the culture, it is when you would like to communicate with others, it means that the culture helps us in communication with others. It means that while we are communicating with others in the society, so different peoples are living in a different parts of country. So then every country, in each country, every society has different cultures and cultural values. Now, what norms and values and cultures to be followed in some specific, in particular area, and what norms, values in should not be followed in particular area. Understanding of these things in respect to the culture is very good while we are communicating with others. For example, if the foreigners are coming to Afghanistan, before they are coming here, they read about Afghan culture, so that how do they communicate and what the things I shouldn't do inside Afghan society and what things I should have to do inside Afghan society. So then the communication will better take place. But if so many flaws in so many mistakes is taking place inside a society where you are not following some principles and norms of that society that should be followed, so that's why it's very much helpful with us that the culture is very important to communicate with others. As well, culture sets a preconditioning factor for the developments of man's personalities. At the same time, it makes it possible to anticipate other action too. It helps us to understand that how to communicate and how to interact with others and what the reactions we might be expecting from others when we are interacting with them. So this will help us that what action should be taken and what action should not be taken at specific times. In respect to that, culture is very much important to understand. په دې خاطر باندې دا ډېر مهم دی چې موږ په دې پوه شو هغه څه چې کول دي په یو ټولنه کې باید ترسره شي، هغه څه چې باید ونه شي هغه هم باید ترسره شي. یعنی هغه نه کولای تر سره شي نه سړی کار تر سره نه کې کوم چې په ټولنه کې خلاف عمل وي نو د دې په مرسته سره د فرهنګ په مطالعه سره د فرهنګ په پیژندلو سره مونږ کولای شو یو خټینګ روابط په ټولنه کې وساتو تر څو مونږ وکولای شو څنګه introduction صورت ونیسي it's at the same time this culture is much important for in order to like for example as standards such standard is for differentiating or distinguishing the right from the wrong and safe from the danger and proper from the improper and bad from the good. So this culture is differentiating between these criteria, that what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is good, what is bad, what is wrong, what is right, what is safe, what is dangerous, and what is wrong and what is right. So understanding of such things, that these things are right in this society, these things are wrong in this society, this is good in this particular area and this is bad in this particular area, this things if followed should be safe in this area, and these things if followed should be dangerous in this area. So understanding of such things will help us to understand. It's because of the understanding of cultures. So that is why the importance of culture is very much important if its understanding is so the next thing, importance of this is identification with society and communities. So many of the communities around the world, in so many societies around the world are being identified by its culture, so they are known by the cultures. Like for example, at the same time, if you look at Afghanistan, we are having different provinces and different districts. Then in each province we have different societies, and each society has a different culture from each other society that exists in at the same province. If you look at take the example of the same province in comparative study of the two societies inside two provinces of Afghanistan, you might see that Uzbeks are having one sort of cultures, Turkmen have another's, Pashtun have another's, Hazara have another, Tajik has another. So each and every one has its own identification, so each society is known by its culture. So the importance and function of culture is that it's identify the different communities in different society around the world. یعنی توسط فرهنگ میتونیم ما جامعه را شناخت جامعه را ما با آسانی بکنیم، طوری که در دنیا شما ببینین در یک مملکت، باز در یک ولایت، باز در یک ولسوالی چقدر جامعه کمیونیتی هستند، سوسایتی وجود داره، هر کدامش باز یک فرهنگ خاصی را دارد. اگر ترکمن است، ازبک است، هزاره است، پشتون است، هر کدامش باز یک رسم و رواج خاص را دارد. آنها توسط اینمی کلچر شناخته شده. به این خاطر ما میگیم چی؟ کلچر is important for what? For identification and with the society and community. At the same time, culture is providing the knowledge that is enabling man to survive it's physically and socially. In order to be survive physically and socially living in a society, it's very much important that we should have a cultures, because this culture might be providing us in this provision of knowledge regarding the culture is giving the ability to persons that he or she should survive socially and physically in a particular area. At the same time, culture is a tool for analyzing human behaviors. It's a very quite clear statement that culture is a tool for analyzing the human behavior. As I say that in some part of the societies, if you go there and you see the people, how do they behave, might be good for them, but it may not be good for you. Or when they come to your area, when you are doing something that might be good for you, but it may not be good for others. It means that what the behavior you are showing, it may be good for you, but it may not. The same behavior may not be good for the others. At the same time, the behavior is shown by other in a specific particular area, may be good for them, that's why they're doing it, maybe not good for you, that's why you're not doing. So for that reason, this is a device, this is a tool by which we are analyzing the human behaviors in respect to the cultures, and we do understand them after the identification of cultures. At the same time, we say that this culture is differentiating, or we can say distinguishes man from animal. So animal and man has a vast difference, but one of the major difference, that is culture as well. As we define the cultures, so all the in the definition, what the component are existing, what the elements are existing inside the definition of culture, that do exist in the man, while that thing wouldn't be existing, that would not be existing in the animals. So the difference between humans and animal in society itself, it is a cultures. So that's why the importance and function of cultures is one of the major concerning issue in a society, is that how much the culture is important in representing the human identity, as well as how much it is important for analyzing the human behavior in the societies. Beside all these things, it's very much important by the help of this culture we do understand in making a differentiation between what is right for us to be followed and what is wrong for us, that shouldn't be followed. So all this credit will goes to the cultures, because the culture is limiting the human conduct and activity in human societies. As we talked about, for example, social norms, the expected behavior that the society is expecting from us, that we have to do it. But at the same time, when such things are not in social norms, so you might be thinking about that it is out of the ethics of the cultures, so that's why we shouldn't do it. And when we talk about the types of cultures, so mainly we do have in a broad and generally two types of culture. One is called material cultures and non-material. اگر بالعموم ما در مورد انواع کلچر یا فرهنگ گپ بزنیم، ما دو نوع کلچر داریم که یک کلچر به نام ماتریال کلچر یاد میشه، دوم که هست به نام نان ماتریال کلچر یاد میشه. So material and non-material cultures, these are the two types of culture. Now, what is material cultures and what is non-material cultures? Material culture, from material culture we understand material and physical objects. For instance, house, road, vehicles, pen, table, etc. Whatever comes in having a physical existence and it's tangible, that comes in our surrounding, that comes in our material cultures. While because human conduct and human living and existing and survival in human society, it's very much important that they should have all these things. So these are the product of human efforts to control his environment and make his life comfortable and safe. All human conducts and activities are being controlled through the efforts of these human products, and that is being comfortable and safe because of all these activity, all these products that we are having. So material culture is also considered as including natural objects that have meaning to man and are used by him or her, although not manufactured or modified by him or her. So that is called material culture. Simply هر چیزی که در چهار اطراف ما شما به شکل فیزیکی موجود باشد، قابل لمس باشد، تنجیبل باشد و قابل مورد استفاده انسان ها در جامعه باشد، در یک محیط ما از آنها استفاده میکنیم و مطابق اون چیزی که لوازمی که در جامعه متریال کلچر ما در چهار اطرافش فعالیت های مطابق او تنظیم میکنیم. And that is representing our culture, so that's why that part of culture, that is called material cultures. While at the same times we do have the non-material cultures as well, upon which we are acting every day in day-to-day life. So non-material culture, this aspect of culture abstracts, it's a non-physical and non-materials in its non-tangible items. This is also known as cognitive and normative aspect of culture. So the example of this type of culture is ideas, knowledge, traditions, belief, art, And this type of culture is associated with rule making, standardization of behaviors and cultures. Social rules, ethics and beliefs are just some example of non-material cultures. So non-material culture, the beliefs, the idea, the concepts, the knowledge, the traditions, the values, the religion that we are following, that we are acting upon, and the value that we are acting upon, the abstract thing that is having no physical existence, is not a tangible items, but we do practice on it and we are passing our life through it. That is called non-material cultures. So the human existence and survival of humans in the society is because of these two culture, material and non-material cultures, that human conducts are being conducted in the human societies, and interaction take place in human lives is proceeding and going ahead. So that's why these are the two things that is much importance that to be understood, these two terminology. بسیار مهم است که هم چیزایی که در چهار اطراف ما قابل لمس است، هم جزء فرهنگ ما و شما هستند که محیط را میسازد، انسان ها از استفاده میکنند. در ضمن چیزایی که غیر محسوس هستند ما صرف دیدن نمیتونیم، ولی فیزیکی موجودیت نداشته باشد، ولی لمس هم شده نمیتواند، ولی ما سرشان عمل انجام میتیم. بالاخره توسط انجام دادن این عمل ما میتونیم فعالیت‌های روزمره زندگی خود را به پیش ببریم که امو بیهیویر انسان ها را کنترل و کندک میکند، لیمیت میکند. امی دو چیزی که هستند فرهنگ را میسازد. یک اصطلاح دیگری که ما استفاده میکنیم به نام کلچر لیک است. So what is culture lake? So as it is defined by Professor Brown, that distinguish between material and non-material cultures. By material aspect of culture, he means things like tools, utensils, machines, manufacturers of goods and transportation, while in non-material cultures aspects he means family, religions, governments and education. When changes occur in the material aspect, those in turn stimulate changes in non-material aspects is called culture lakes. کدام تفاوت فرق میان ماتریال کلچرز و نان ماتریال کلچر که هستند؟ چیز تفاوتی که درمیان اینمی دو میاد؟ تفاوت میان کلچر ماتریال و نان ماتریال کلچرز به نام کلچر لیک یاد میشود. شما میبینید که در معمولا وقتی که در ماتریال کلچرز ما شما تغییرات میآید، پیش انسان ها چه قسم زندگی میکرد، خانه، وسایل چه قسم بود، امروز چه قسم است، یک نوع تغییرات سوشال چینج آمده در ماتریال کلچرز ما، و این خود در همزمان باز تحریک میکند، متحرک میسازد که تغییرات در نان ماتریال هم بیاید. یعنی تغییرات در ماتریال کلچر باعث تغییرات نان ماتریال هم میشود. وقتی که این تغییرات میآید، اینمی تغییرات در نان ماتریال امرای ماتریال با اساس کلچر لیک ما اصطلاح استفاده میکنیم که چیزی تغییرات که میانی دو چیز میآید، it is called culture lakes. So the non-material culture, according to O'Brown, is often slow to respond to the rapid invention in material cultures. When non-material culture does not adjust itself readily to the material changes, it falls behind the materials and give rise to the culture lakes. وقتی که طبعا non-material culture که هستن نظر به material culture که هست و slow هستن عکس العملشان، چیزی اختراعاتی که در material culture صورت میگیره that is in non-material culture it's very slow. امی در non-material چیز تغییراتی که میآید و یا خودی non-material culture نمیتونه در تغییرات ماتریال خود تغییرات ماتریال کلچر که هستند در فرهنگ ماتریال کلچر که هستند او توافق بکند، خدا امرایشان عیار بکند، دیجا نان ماتریال کلچر پس میمانه به خاطر که امرای ماتریال کلچر خدا عیار نساخت. وقتی که ماتریال کلچرز پس ماند، اینمی پس ماندن نان ماتریال کلچر به نام کلچر لیک یاد می شود. So definition of cultural links. This refers to the gap between the material and non-material cultures. Most often times material cultures advances more rapidly and more readily accepted by people. For example, Muslims readily accept modern means of transportation and communication but remain steadfast in their religious belief in faith. Cultural link is the difference between the rate of progress of material and non-material cultures. تفاوت فرق یعنی در پیشرفت ترقی ماتریال کلچر و نان ماتریال کلچر به نام کلچر لیگ یاد می شود که معمولا در نان ماتریال کلچرز ما که هستند بسیار با آهستگی پا پیش بریم ولی در ماتریال کلچرز چون تقاضای امروزی دنیا این هم است و از مردم هم هستند که ما در ماتریال کلچرز بسیار تیز هستیم و در ماتریال کلچر پس ماندیم. اگر ما مثال بتیم امروز ما خانه را با چی قسم جور میکنیم، لوازم خانه را پیدا میکنیم، مثلا موتر است، بهترین موتر را پیدا میکنیم، کالا را ببینید شما مثلا از چی نوع لباس ما استفاده میکنیم، مختلف نوع لباس، مختلف نوع خانه ها، یک خانه امروز خانه دیگر فرق داره موتر. ای امو ریتی پروگرس یعنی ترقی که هستن کلچر ماتریال کلچر بلند میره. چیزی که مذهب است در مورد مذهب پیروی کم میشه، مثلا مذهب در قصهش کسی نیست، دین در مسئله دین قدر کسی جستجو نمیکند، این نان ماتریال کلچر پس میمانه. وقتی که فرق میان ماتریال و نان ماتریال کلچر میآید اینمی فرق به نام کلچر لیگ یاد میشود. While cultural link is not the outcome of only one causal factor, there are various causes for the same which are given as under. خود اسباب کلچر لیگ زیاد است. یک سبب نیست، فاکتورهای زیادی موجود هستند که باعث کلچر لیگ می شود. Influence of other یا خویی هستند که ما متاثر میشیم از دیگران به این خاطر ما در کلچر ماتریال کلچر پیش میریم، در ماتریال کلچر پیش نمیریم باز. So, influence of one society on the other can be such cause. Western culture considerably influenced our way of living, thinking and behaving. Some aspect of our life went ahead than the others. Our culture under the influence of West has considerably changed in the spheres of fashion, dress, but not in political and economic life. Secondly, the second thing is that why a cultural link has taken place is because of the advancement of technology. It means non-material culture is progressing very fast and technology is playing a major role. So non-material cultures is developing and progressing in regard to non-material cultures. So one of the major cause of cultural link is the advancement of technology. So each discovery and invention takes one aspect of society faster than the other. Each discovery and invention creates the problem of adaptation in society. So some of the significant technological developments and inventions that are producing cultural links in contemporary society are the telephone, photography, televisions and other sorts of electronic media, etc. These are resulting in a terrific impact on society, its institutions. So its custom, the result is enormous accumulation of social lags. So the advancement of technology which comes under the non-material cultures today has so much advanced technology while the non-material culture has left behind. So that becomes a cause of a cultural lags, that why the non-material culture rate of progress is very slow, at the same time the rate of progress of material culture is very fast. So the reason is, the first reason was as we discussed, and second reason is advancement of a technology. So what are the hindrances, the way of cultural links? موانع چی شده؟ چی باعث این شده در راههای کلچر لیگ که وہ باعث این شده مثلا کلچر لیگ را، یعنی سبب کلچر لیگ چی است؟ موانع چی هستند؟ چرا نان ماتریال کلچرز پیشرفت نمیکنه ولی ماتریال میکنه؟ As there are causes which create cultural link, there are certain factors which hinder it as well. So religion, we find that changes in religion can be very seldom brought about. Basically, religious dogmas have remained unchanged throughout century. Thus, religion can be considered as one of the factors which hinder the process of cultural links. مذهب خودش یک رکاوت، یک موانع هستند در پیشرفت و در ترقی و در پیشرفتن و در ارتقای کلچر لیک خود. چون ریلیجن از تغییرات بسیار کم قبول میکند ولی در هرگز قبول نمیکند تغییرات نیست. چیزی که اصل اسلام، چیزی که در مذهب اصل اونها است. Second thing is law. Usually law is based on tradition and custom. Law does not introduce radical changes at a very fast speed. Tradition is deep rooted in human society. In sense, there is a very close relationship between law and tradition. The people respect traditions and therefore the law. That's why law does not accept changes due to the respect of people for traditions. قانون هم باعث این می شود که کلچر لیک صورت بگیرد. نان متریال کلچرز درمیان پس بانه و متریال کلچر پیشرفت بکند. So law is here, so people do act according to the law, so they cannot deviate themselves from the law. So that's why most of the reason for the cultural leaks, that is the law as well. While at the same time illiteracy, peshiwadi ham baise cultural leak shuda. If the people are illiterate and ignorant, they cannot easily understand the importance of change. They have no exposure to the outside world. They have not experienced the taste of progress and new things. बेसिवादी खुद इश्याक बायस से कल्चर लीक शुदा यानी इंसानों के बेसिवाद अस्तन जाहिल अस्तन तारीखी ज़िंदगी में करत हमेशा अहमियत तग़यीर द ज़िंदगी मफ़हूमशान गिरफ्तार में तारा ने अहमियत शमेशा वानी या बा दुनिया बिरूनी बेसियार एक्सपोज अस्तन वानी हम या एच ज़ायक़े पेशरफ्त व तरक्की एक चीज़ नाउ नी तजुर्बा करदा वानी ज़ायक़ेश दिला बस इनमी बायस इन शुदा के मटेरियल कल्चर्स अगर पेशरफ्त में कुना नॉन मटेरियल कल्चर पेशरफ्त में कुना मज़हब में पास में मानिम इनमी कलिमा बना में कल्चर एक याद में शामिल. So communication gap is one of another hindrance. So media of communication is unable of inform the people of the day-to-day happenings. The people did not hear about the changing world, so they cannot easily accept it. First, they will have to be informed about the meaning of changes through media. It means a source to be provided first, and the information will be given to the people. Then they will be expected to follow the changing lifestyle and objects of the use. وقتی که فاصله میان ارتباطات صورت میگیره کمیونیکیشن صورت نگیرد مردم خبر نمیشه از طریق رسانه های چاپی باشد یا برقی باشد وقتی که گیپ امرای این مردم باشد و رسانه باشد طبعا در ایجا هم انشاءالله باز اهمیت تغییر نمیشناسه و نمیفهمه. اول باید ما در موردش ما معلومات به خاطر تغییر بدیم باز ما مثلا بعد از معلوماتش ما باید برشان ترینینگ بدیم بعد از که وا قبول بکند که تغییرات یا سوشال چینجز یک چیزی بسیار مهم در جامعه هستند. پس همین چیزایی که گیپ زیاد است در میان مردم و افراد بارسوخ همون گیپی که موجود هستند اینمی گیپ به نام کلچر لیک یاد می شود. So that is the last one which comes as the hinder of the culture leaks. So culture is our identifications. Culture is very much important for the analyzing or the analyzation of the human behaviors, and culture do help us to understand the good and right, the good and bad things, and right and wrong and improper things in the human societies. That could help us to understand, and better understanding of such things will do help us to understand the societies. به این خاطر شناخت فرهنگ در یک جامعه بسیار مهم هستند، به خاطر که مطابق فرهنگ جامعه ما کردار خدا به پیش میبریم، ما فعالیت خدا انجام میدیم. به این لحاظ ما باید از حفظ و محافظت فرهنگ خود ما بکنیم. چیزایی که درست است را سر خود ما قبول بکنیم و او را انجام بدیم. چیزی که نادرست است از خودداری بکنیم تا ما بتانیم که یک جامعه‌ای که پر از لذت، زندگی، یگانگی، اتحاد و اتفاق و محبت باشد. ما بس میتونیم که ما با متقابل یک نفر دیگر به فرهنگشان، به مذهبشان، به نظرشان، به مفهومشان، به عقیدهشان ما احترام داشته باشیم. اگر این نوع فرهنگ در جامعه ما شما در افغانستان مروج شود، محبت باشد، همدلی و همدردی باشد، منافقت و دزدی و چیزا نباشد، یعنی هر عملی که ما انجام میدیم او نمایندگی از فرهنگ ما شما میکند، از شخصیت ما شما میکند. پس ما باید کوشش کنیم که از نوعی از شخصیت استفاده بکنیم در جامعه، فعالیت ها طور را انجام بدیم تا ما بتانیم یک بهترین زندگی داشته باشیم. در غیر از او اگر ما فرهنگ را تعقیب نبکنیم، مهم است که ما از پیروی از فرهنگ خود بکنیم، چیزایی که درست است را پیش ببریم، چیزایی که نادرست است از خودداری بکنیم. امروز درس امروزی ما تا که در درس بعدی باز ما شما باز پیش میشیم، شما را به خداوند یکتا می سپاریم. الله حافظ. Wish you all the best. Stay blessed and happy. Thank you for your attentions and passions.